Okay, we're back. I'm sorry about that. I had difficulty in saving the
Good,
video,
good back.
and yes. No, the thing was, it is not difficulty in reconnecting, but I had difficulty in saving the video.
Okay.
And there were people who wanted to see this video again because you were giving
Right.
a lot of information, and they won't remember. They have to see it again.
No, I don't know what was happening because in fact you were answering some of the questions, but the video was not really good. So I wanted to answer, but I thought I would speak over your voice. So it was a bit, but I don't know what happened.
Okay.
I think there was someone. Shall we wait a bit for the people to reconnect, or we can
No, it's
go
okay.
ahead?
You can go ahead.
Yeah,
I think they will come back. Yeah.
I just remember before it started acting up, someone asked a very good question. I think in these times we should answer, was regarding the COVID situation. If it was going to affect or not, basically the recruiting. The answer is I'm going to say yes and no, because it depends in which division actually. What's a bit surprising, I would say, for some people, is that the bigger the schools are, so basically the Division 1 schools, are mostly affected. And the reason for that is because they depend so much on their basketball team and football team, who bring so much revenue, in TV rights, merchandising, ticket sales. And so because of that, their budgets are being readjusted, and some of them are reluctant to recruit for this coming August. They don't really know how much scholarship they'll have for next year. So I'm definitely seeing some schools being a little bit hesitating in recruiting for this coming August, already much less for Jan, and I think for next year it will be back to normal. But overall, you have like thousands of schools. I forgot to say earlier, in the 5 divisions, you have about 300 schools in all divisions, right? So you still have a lot of scholarships out there. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you pretty much answered all the questions. I don't know if you had some questions for you. Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah. I'm seeing a man asking a question saying that some colleges are canceling the tennis programs. Unfortunately, it is correct. And I know that because I know some schools. I have a player from India whose program has been cancelled, so we had to help her transfer to a new school. Luckily, was able to do that, but it's a situation that unfortunately happens every year with tennis teams. Tennis is a smaller sport which costs money to the school. It's not bringing money, like I was saying, like basketball or football or even baseball. So some schools, whenever they go through budget cuts, tennis is one of the first sports to go away. So some of them are going through that, unfortunately, this year due to the COVID-19. But as I was also saying, luckily, you have so many schools, you still have a lot of scholarships available out there. So, yeah.
Okay. So somebody is asking, does a gap year
work
for
yeah.
D1? Yes.
Arjun. Yes.
Arjun
So Arjun, my answer for D1, the gap year does not work. Okay. So that means you cannot take a full year off after finishing high school and then be eligible in Division 1. Division 1 gives you only the permission to do 6 months. They call it a 6-month grace period. That's why I was saying if you graduate in April, May, June, you need to go either in August or in Jan. Now, Division 2 would give you that 1 year. Now, I don't want players to think there is absolutely no way to go to Division 1 after finishing high school. It's possible, but in that case, they need to do 1 year of university online in India, anywhere, with enough classes passed that they can transfer into the US. So it's still possible. But the gap year where you just do tennis, no studies at all, then you cannot play Division 1. Only 6 months.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So somebody is asking, Rami Ponti, do you have data on how many Indians go to US colleges every year? I don't know. Can you give a ballpark figure of?
Yeah. I would say 50. 50.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
overall across all division, men and women, yeah, I would say probably 50. I mean, it might
Okay.
be 35, but yeah, I would say close to 50. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So what would you say about these players who go to US and then the parents are, expecting them to come back with some improved tennis, but they come back uh, with a tennis level much lower,
Yeah.
and apart from the people who are quitting,
Yeah.
someone.
Yeah.
Do you have any comments on that?
I mean, yeah, I think again, it all depends. Anytime I hear these things,
Mm-hmm.
I always ask, where did the player play? That's the first question. And
Okay.
I don't mean it to downgrade some tennis programs out there, but
Mm-hmm.
it's the truth that you have so many different levels, right? You have 5
Right.
divisions, but
Mm-hmm.
now even inside one division, the Division 1, say, and the 314 schools that you have with a tennis program, even
Right.
inside that, I can divide that division into 5 other divisions at least in terms of level.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the time when players come back and are not playing better or are playing worse,
Mm-hmm.
it means they haven't gone to the right place, And
Okay.
then, as I was saying, there is a factor that we cannot control, is what they've done. Have they been dedicated? Have they been serious?
Mm-hmm.
If you go to a good school, a good program with a good coach, if you're not
Mm-hmm.
dedicated and you're not, and I know Mancha
Yeah. Yeah.
earlier who
Yeah.
was mentioning this, who's playing for Santa
Yes.
Clara, if he's not serious with his coach, he's going to be out of the team the next year. He's not going to stay. So you have no choice. But for the
Right.
players who go to, a smaller division, smaller team with less expectations, they might have a bit more wiggle room to chill a little bit and be less serious. And then no wonder they'll come back 4 years later without much improvements. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I have another important question for you.
Yeah.
So if somebody has, you know, a reasonably good playing level, okay, to get it to a Division 1
Yeah.
and a good college, and
Yeah.
you start to negotiate the scholarship, right? So can you
Yeah.
tell us the details about what is the scholarship a player can expect for a certain level, and then what does that cover, and
Yeah.
what are the aspects that they need to take care of themselves, and how much would that be?
Yeah. So the scholarships, yeah, it's very good question. The scholarship will depend on your position in the lineup. Okay. Now, that doesn't concern the girls for Division 1, as I said, because if you are on the team, you are pretty much sure to be in the. If you're in top 8 girls, most of the teams only have 8 girls. You have a full scholarship. But in any other division or Division 1 for men's, you have 4.5 scholarship for a team of 6, 7, 8 players. So the higher you're going to go, you're going to play on the lineup, the higher is going to be your scholarship. So if I manage to get you into a team where the coach thinks you're going to be playing maybe, say, number 3 or 2, I should be able to negotiate you something close to 90% scholarship. But if you go into a team which might be better, with better players, maybe better for your tennis, but where you're going to be playing 5 or 6, your scholarship might be below 50%. So the very important thing when you start the process is to know what's your budget. How much can you spend per year? And depending on that and your goals, your tennis goals, academic goals, then we can sharpen it and have a clear vision of what kind of schools we can aim for. Now, that said, the scholarship, when we speak about, say, a 90% scholarship, the scholarship is on everything besides tennis. So the very good news is, if you're taken on a team, doesn't matter if you're on the bench or if you're number 1, you're not going to spend a single dollar on your tennis. So that means you get free coaching, you get a physio, you get a fitness coach, you get clothes. The schools are sponsored by brands like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour. You get clothes, you get shoes, you get strings, you get grips. So for 4 years, you have zero expenses in tennis. And we all know that all of that is expensive. So that's given, but that's not even part of the scholarship. Now it's a bonus, I guess. Now the scholarship is there to cover your tuition, your books, your international insurance, your room, and your food. Now, out of that, if you get a full scholarship, you pay 0. Great. If you get 50%, well, you'll pay half, okay? But what's important for me is to try to put whatever scholarship we manage to get you on what I call the fixed cost. A fixed cost is what is the price that's never going to change, which is tuition, international insurance. Those things, there's a price, there's no way to bargain. But on the housing and on the food, after your first year, you can move off campus and get a better deal, you know, live for cheaper. First year student, freshmen, they have to be on campus no matter what. But after 1 year, you can, if you move off campus with some teammates, you can pretty much, you know, get the price lower without even getting an increase in scholarship. So, you know, you have ways like that to reduce the cost. You need a figure, a roughly figure. I would tell you that if you are around, let's talk ITF level, junior. If you are around, if you are top 400 ITF in the world, women, you have the level. You have the level to be Division 1 full scholarship.
Okay.
I'm not saying at 400 you're going to be playing in the top 20 school. That you better be top 100 for that, but you're going to be there in Division 1. For the guys, top 400, top 500 to go to D1, yes, with a good scholarship. Prepare to have a budget of around 10,000 a year. If you have around 10,000 a year, we can get you to a school where you're going to be hitting what I call the sweet spot, which is playing number 4. For me, if you play number 4 your freshman year, it's ideal because it means you have better players in front of you. So you play in a good team, you train every day with good players, but at the same time, you have a little caution that if you don't play too good, you don't drop on the bench. You might just drop to number 5 or 6, but you still play the matches. And if you are recruited to play number 4 or 5, yeah, with a budget of $10,000, we can make it happen. Now, if you have a lower budget, we'll go to a school where you'll play right away number 3 or 2 and get you better, and you'll pay just $5,000. And those numbers are based on an average cost of $30,000 US, which is the average cost of a school in the US. But you also have schools which cost $50,000 a year, and some that cost just 20. So you see, it's difficult to give numbers because you have such different prices also out there.
Okay, Alex, I think we have like 10 more minutes and we'll wind up in 10 minutes. So we'll just answer a couple of questions and then we'll kind of summarize and we'll wind up. Yeah.
Sure.
Girish Sane is asking, the playing level now is determined by UTR to get an initial look in by the coach. Can you talk about that a bit? I thought this is an important question because of a conversation we had in Calcutta.
Right, yeah. So the UTR, when the UTR came out, everybody was very excited. Agents like me, coaches in the US, because it was the promise of a ranking, international ranking, that was going to take into account all the matches and be really precise. Now, a few years later, I see the difference. More and more coaches want to stay away from that ranking because they are disappointment. It's not always very accurate. But I would make everybody feel better by saying, if you have a good UTR, it's going to help you. So, I'm not against the UTR. Now, there is another thing that's important to understand is, as I was saying for the ITF ranking earlier, I was saying what's important is your results. If you only get points in weak countries where the level is a little lower, the coaches are going to see that. And therefore, your results are not going to matter as much. Well, it's the same dynamic with UTR. If all of your UTR matches are being played in India, it will help you if you have a good UTR, but it will not have the same value as if you manage to get some UTR points or whatever other ranking points in the US, in Australia, or in Europe, And again, whether that's fair or not, I'm not too sure because I've been to a lot of tournaments in India and I think the level is high, but it's just a matter of, it's the situation. The American coaches don't come to India. They haven't recruited enough players over the past comparatively to other countries or zones in the world. So they don't know enough the level. So that they won't rely as much on it. But if you had to pick between UTR and having a good UTR and a good ITF, I would tell you ITF. But at the same time, if you have a good ITF, your UTR will go up automatically. So I think people need to be seeking results that matter, and then the rankings will follow. But it's more result-based.
Yeah. So Rami Ponti is asking, so is it possible for a boy to get 100% scholarship?
Mm, I should say no. Now it does happen, but what happens mostly, first of all, I don't want people to confuse getting 100% scholarship on the tuition, definitely, but 100%, a real 100% scholarship means on everything, as I was saying, including your food and your stay. That's very difficult to get. Now, some of the top players able to go in the top 30 schools in Division 1 are able to pay zero without being on 100% on paper. So sometimes you hear players tell you, yeah, I pay nothing, I'm on a full scholarship. They're technically not on a full scholarship. What happens is some of those schools, I'll give you just a small example, they'll have a cafeteria for athletes, okay? Sometimes those cafeteria are going to be for the football team, but all the athletes are allowed to eat there. So then what happens is eating is free for the athletes, and the food is about 10% of your cost for the whole year, roughly speaking, okay? So then if the coach gives you 90%, but the 10% you were supposed to pay for your food is free because that school has a cafeteria just for the athletes, you are on a full scholarship, but not technically on paper. So yeah, it's very hard to get full scholarship on the boys. I think when boys pay less than $5,000 a year, it's amazing. Yeah.
Okay. So
But sometimes
that
it's
will say,
worth. Yeah, sorry, but sometimes it's worth. It's worth. Sorry, spending a little bit more money to have a better team, a better school. But I guess that's my role. People doing my job's role to guide the players and tell them whether it's going to be worth spending more or not. Yeah.
okay. They didn't understand about, what is this? Bale is asking, I really don't understand that what would be the first step from like
Okay.
I am in initial. Okay.
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 So the first step, I guess earlier we were talking like that, they can get help from counseling services like mine. I think maybe she's asking, technically speaking, what's happening. The first step is first to register you for your test, SAT and possibly TOEFL, depending on the school if they require it or not for you. And then recruiting video, and basically get your name out there. That's the first thing to do when you sign. And that's why I say you need to sign as early as possible, because coaches recruit early. Coaches are going to speak with 10 different players for one spot on the team, which is okay because we're going to do the same thing as well for you. But the sooner we get your name out there, the better, and the more opportunities you're going to have overall. So it's really getting your name out there, creating this recruiting video. The recruiting video has to be done a certain way. I take care of those. I know what the coaches want to see because I used to watch them when I was recruiting, when I was a coach there. They need to tell the truth. You don't want to fool coaches. They need to tell the truth. Yeah. And players need to stop stressing about those recruiting videos, because coaches are not going to recruit you just based on that. Okay, you don't need to look like Roger Federer or Venus Williams when you play just to get a scholarship. It's there to introduce you, show your technique, and get your name out there, and then the results will come in afterwards. Yeah.
Okay, I think we have to wind up, Alex. We can't take any more questions.
I just want to tell Drew that it's okay to be vegetarians. I defend the vegetarians. I am one, and I survived in college in the US. Yes. Veg life. Okay. So yes, you will survive, Drew.
Yeah. So it's possible to find vegetarian food, is it?
Yeah, totally.
In the US.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it is possible, and they've really improved since it was actually I was there at that time when Barack Obama was president. His wife Michelle had she took this as a mission in the US to change in all schooling systems, elementary school, high school, universities, to change the eating culture, and I've seen the change. Like now it's much healthier in the university. You have so many options, and yes, you can eat burgers, fries, and pizza every day. It's always going to be there. But if you are steady and serious about your health, you can get good food and vegetarian food too. Yeah.
Okay. It's good. Okay. So that's fantastic talking to you, Alex. so much of
Thank you, Suresh.
information for people to, you know,
Same
to
here.
understand. And I'm sure you can put up your details so people can contact you for more
Yeah,
information. I'm sure you're a guy who is more than willing to give out information and
sure, sure.
help people. So he
Definitely.
will. You can find Alex Bernard in the Instagram, and you can message him, and you can be in touch with him. And yes, we spoke about a lot of advantages of going to the US colleges. And also, we also spoke about who should go and for who it is not the right thing to do. And also, if you decided to go, you also should understand the difference in the culture that you're going to be facing, and you need to get prepared before that. And if the parents, if they feel that your child is not ready to face a complete, it is not very easy. The undergraduation in the US, as far as I know, it is not an easy thing. Your child should be prepared mentally to go out there and tough it out. It is not going to be something like roses, roses all the way. They should be willing to work hard on the court. They should be willing to put in the time required for the academics. They need to have both to retain their scholarship. And only one thing that, in my opinion, is a drawback in going to US is postponing the turning pro part for about 4 years. You can also, yes, there's another advantage is that after 2 years, you could also drop out and say, I'm going to turn pro. And you can probably go back at any time to finish college, right? We have something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
You
that's
can
also,
do that. You have players who've done it, like Kevin Anderson played for
yeah,
Illinois, and
yeah,
after his third year, he turned pro.
yeah.
Yeah, you can do that, and the college will give you your scholarship back when you come back. The top Division
Yeah.
One colleges do that; they give you that option. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so that option you have. Yeah, and then that's it. So be clear what you want to do. If you think that you're ready to face the futures at 18, 19, and if you feel you have the game and people around you believe that you're going to make it, and you should have the finances also to tough it up for the next 2, 3 years, then yes, go that way. Instead, the US college option is a very good option if you want to, pursue your tennis, get some quality coaching and training, and then try it out after 4 years. And you'll have an option of turning pro or going the academic side because you have a college degree and you will be having, good jobs waiting for you and things like that. Yeah, but for
Yep.
Indians, Alex, for Indian players, in my personal opinion, 99% of them stop after college, which is not
Yeah,
a
I
very
think.
good thing. The
Yeah,
past has not been very
yeah,
good.
yeah,
I
yeah.
hope when they go next time, they go mentally prepared and then know what it is and to take it
Yeah,
further.
I just think there the confusion is why do you go? I think that's the first
Yeah.
question. And
Yes,
too
absolutely.
many people who don't have possibly the level, even as juniors, go
Yeah.
there thinking they might go pro, or
Yeah.
their coach might think, or
Also, yes.
the society around might think they will come back pro.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah.
and it's okay. It's 90% of the players who go there don't turn pro, and they go into amazing careers that they
Yes.
got thanks to their tennis. It's
Yes.
using your potential,
Yes.
your tennis level, to go
Yeah.
on to a different experience and open up
Yes.
to a new
Yeah.
culture and a new system. Yeah,
Absolutely.
but and a few of
Totally.
them coming back. Yeah, coming back,
Yeah.
turning pro, and you have some of them in India. So yeah, good
Yes.
luck to all of them. Anyway, I keep
Yes.
following all of them. What they do on the tour, they're obviously great ambassadors, but
Mhm.
I don't see just the guys who turn pro after playing college as ambassadors. I think it's not just to turn pro. In life, you don't play a sport just to be pro. You know, it's
Yes.
to open doors and get to do other things. And
Yes.
this is the example. This is why college tennis is great, I think.
Yes. Well said, Alex. Super way to finish this. Really a nice
All right.
statement to make. Yes. Okay.
Thank you,
So
sir.
thank you. And it was wonderful seeing you after Calcutta. We started
Yeah.
the COVID, and I hope this conversation will end it.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope so too.
Yes.
And see
Okay.
you soon, Suresh. Thank you
Yeah.
again.
Bye
And
bye.
thank you,
Yeah,
everyone.
we'll
Bye-bye.
speak on the phone. Yeah. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Yeah.